This May, we are going to travel to the Mid-Atlantic states to visit many of the famous cities and monuments. Some places that we are going to visit are Washington, D.C., Baltimore, Maryland, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and Virginia. We will visit the White House, the Lincoln Memorial, and many diverse museums and sites along the eastern part of the United States. Washington, D.C. is a territory on the eastern coast of the United States. When it was made the capital of the nation on July 16, 1790, it was the center of what was America. But as you know, the country expanded all the way to the western coast, to the Pacific Ocean. It is located between Maryland and Virginia. The Potomac River runs through Washington, D.C. There are many things to do there. You can visit the Smithsonian Museums. Altogether, there are 19 of these museums in D.C. There is free admission with over 137 million artifacts and objects to look at here. You can tour the 3 houses of government, the White House, the Supreme Court, and the U.S. Capitol. You can see shows and plays, or even tour Mount Vernon. Washington, D.C. is a fascinating place that many people visit every year.
The mall in D.C. has almost everything. It even has the White House and the Library of Congress. The National Mall also has the Lincoln Memorial, Jefferson Memorial, Washington Memorial, Martin Luther King Memorial, Vietnam Memorial, Capitol Building, and more. The National Mall is very big. The Lincoln Memorial is dedicated to Abraham Lincoln. It is in the National Mall. The architect was Henry Bacon. The Lincoln Memorial has solar panels on the top of the roof. The $5 bill and the penny has Abraham Lincoln on them. Inside the building, it is very beautiful. The words of Thomas Jefferson were spoken a long time ago, and they meant a lot to our countries. This building is dedicated to Thomas Jefferson, one of our founding fathers. The building was designed by John Russell Pope. It was built from 1939 to 1943. It is one of our most beautiful buildings in the USA. The Washington Memorial was made for George Washington. It was made out of marble, granite, and bluestone. The Washington Memorial is 55 feet tall. It is the tallest stone ever existing. Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial is in the National Mall in Washington, D.C. He was born in 1929 to 1968. He tried to get the blacks free. The memorial has tons of carvings of him. The memorial has a lot of notes of what Martin said. He stood up for the blacks. The Vietnam Memorial has tons of people that died in the war. The war was taking place in East Asia. The best known part of the memorial is in the Veterans Wall, which the wall was done in 1982. There is 3 parts of the memorial. They are the Veterans Women's Wall, Veterans Vietnam Wall, and the Soldiers Statue. The White House is a place where the president lives. It was rebuilt 100 years ago after the Civil War. The White House has all the pictures of all the presidents who used to live there. The White House is a place where tourists can go. The White House is a beautiful environment for people. Capitol Building is in Washington, D.C., and it was built in 1872. The Capitol Building is in every state in the USA. The Capitol Building has a Senate and a House of Representatives. A lot of the people go there to the Capitol Building. The Capitol Building is very cool. The Library of Congress is research in the Library of the USA Congress, built in 1800, located in 4th Building in Washington, D.C. It is the largest library in the world, with 22,094,656 books. You can take a free 1-hour walking tour, a specialist guide tour, and enjoy exhibits, congress, and legislators.
The museum is a kid-friendly museum on news and journalism. It is the hands-on museum. It is located in Washington, D.C. It was established on April 18, 1997. It closed down on 2002 and reopened to a new model on April 11, 2008. The original museum attracted 2.25 million visitors. In the museum, you can be recorded on TV and show it to your friends.
Smithsonian is a historic museum. James Smithsonian grew up at the Smithsonian as a child. When he died in 1829, he left $508,000 with specific instructions to increase the dissemination of knowledge, and is now the Smithsonian Institution of Knowledge. 10 million people come there each year. It carries Apollo 11, the space module, and it has many characters from movies. There are many models such as R2-D2 from Star Wars. The National Cathedral is also called the Cathedral of St. Peter and St. Paul. It is the sixth largest cathedral in the whole world. It is the second largest cathedral in the United States. In 2009, about 400,000 visitors toured the National Cathedral. It was built in 1990. People would never stop putting carvings on the building. It wasn't just used for a church, it was used for meetings during World War II. It had some construction done in 2011 because of a huge earthquake. The World War II Memorial honors the 60 million who served in the Army, the 600,000 who died, and the people who supported it. On April 29, 2004, it opened exactly 1 month later. It is run by the National Park Service.
Ford Theater is where Abraham Lincoln was assassinated. The theater was first used as a church in 1833. Ford Theater was used for various plays in the 1860s. The theater was also used as a warehouse. It was sold and reopened again as a theater in the 1960s.
Mount Vernon is where George Washington lived, and there he considered himself a farmer. It is now a museum. Millions of people come there each year. There are many people acting like they lived back then. He had a greenhouse, animals, and a lot of plants. He had slaves and they lived on the land. Mr. and Mrs. Washington was buried at their house, and they also have a memorial. The museum has also many artifacts, movies, and hands-on activities. There are many replicas of what he lived with. They also have great food.
The Monticello is where Thomas Jefferson's home was. It is a National Historic Landmark. Thomas Jefferson was also buried there. People come from other states to see it. Thomas Jefferson built most of the Monticello himself. His house appears to be on a $2 bill. He built the floor and some of the furniture. There are 43 rooms in the mansion. He wanted it to be an expensive house and used some of the wood on his land. He had slaves that could read and write. He loved his home. He was in big debt, and when he died, his wife sold the house and got a lot of money.
Yorktown was named for the city of York in Yorkshire, northern England. It was a port for selling tobacco. Thomas Ballard was the principal founder of the city, along with Joseph Frank. It was called Yorktown after the Revolutionary War. On 1750, almost 2,000 people moved into Yorktown. It was used as a base for the Union Army. A monument was built to show that the Union won the war. It was struck by lightning and a new one was built. Jamestown was the first successful English settlement. On May 14, 1607, Jamestown was settled. The fort was in honor of King James. They grew tobacco, indigo, and cotton from the Americas to sell to other countries. It was bustling with people, army men, and generals. Indians were mad that the English took over the area, so they attacked them. People have dug up many of their artifacts left behind and preserved them. In 1698, Williamsburg became the capital of Virginia. Williamsburg was built in 1694. The College of William and Mary was established in 1693. It was the second established college in the United States. Jamestown, Yorktown, and Williamsburg are connected by a pathway 23 miles long. People did not want the Indians to attack, so they moved next to rivers. The Indians lived in parts of Virginia, but when they saw the white man, they ran away.
Arlington Cemetery was a potter's field before the Civil War. Existing cemeteries grew, and Edwin M. Stanton said the property around Arlington's house had to be used as a military graveyard. More than 5 1,000 men have been interred there. Today, 300,000 people are buried there. Georgetown is located in northwest Washington, D.C., right next to the Potomac River. It was founded in 1751. Georgetown remained separate until 1871, when the United States Congress created a new government for the whole District of Columbia. Georgetown is one of the oldest neighborhoods in Washington, D.C. It is known for its shopping, dining, and nightlife. It is a college town.
Baltimore, Maryland is a fantastic place to watch shows, tour museums, and take walks. Lord Baltimore, a noble from England, founded it on July 30th, 1729. It was initially founded to allow Catholics to worship freely, but today it is home to many different religions. It was named Maryland for Lord Baltimore's wife, Henrietta Maria. Many people visit Baltimore every year just to experience the magnificence of the great churches there. Baltimore is a wonderful place with amazing things to see, such as monuments, churches, and shops. William Penn, a Quaker, founded Philadelphia, Pennsylvania for religious freedom. But instead of only permitting Quakers into this new territory, William Penn welcomed people of all religions. It became known as the City of Brotherly Love. Philadelphia was temporarily the capital before Washington, D.C. Today there are many things to do in Philadelphia. You can visit Independence Hall, where America's founders adopted the Declaration of Independence. You can go to Valley Forge Park, visit museums, and enjoy a tour of science and music academies. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania is a wonderful place to visit.
Independence Hall is the center of Independence National Historic Park in Philadelphia. It is known partly of its location of where the Declaration of Independence was signed and the United States Constitution was debating. The building was completed in 1753. It was the site of the Constitution Convention in the summer of 1787. The Liberty Bell gained importance when the abolitionists tried to put an end to slavery. Throughout America, the Liberty Bell adopted it as a symbol. It was first called the Pennsylvania State House Bell. They would ring the bell when news and laws were told. On the top of the bell is Leviticus 25:5. The Constitution was written to give the people more power than the presidents. The people wanted to be higher in command. The United States Constitution was written in 1787 during the Philadelphia Convention. Today, you can find the Constitution in the National Archives in D.C. The Amish religion is following the early Christianity religion and desire to be faithful to God. The Amish believe that the Bible is the Word of God and that the church is the body of Christ. The Amish mostly live in Lancaster country. Amish beliefs also show importance of humility, obedience, and simpleness. They believe that true Christians should never use violence or force. The Amish religion was founded in Europe by Jacob Ammon in 1644. Some Amish moved to the United States in the early 18th century. They are found in New York, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Missouri, Idaho, and other places. The Amish lives are followed by a list of oral rules called the Ordrum. The Ordrum may say almost everything in someone's lifestyle, from dress and hair length to buggy style and farming techniques. One important thing to know about the Amish is that they do not use any electricity.
We can't wait for a trip to the East Coast.